test devices and analyze data. In science and in my music, it's really trial and error for me. We just dabble in so many things, and that's the same way. I mean, with samples, I just sample things all day long, and then I see what works. And doing science, when we were looking at new ideas, you just read journals, take notes. That's just collecting the data. You have to look into a million different things to make something new. And then there's the actual processing of the data where you're saying, all right, now I have to get results. And, the first thing you do is research it and see if there's patents for it. And a lot of time, very broad ideas are patented. It is an experimental division, so we keep a notebook, and they want us to propose 3 ideas per year. And I think if they were a bit more open to the point where the whole point of medicine and science, where let's just do the best we can, let's just build on all the ideas and see what we can make happen. I think the progress in medicine will move, incredibly fast. All the time, you come up with something and you do the research and it's been patented, and maybe your idea is slightly different, but they might hold a patent on a core, part of your idea. So, a lot of times it's just, that's out of the question. It holds back knowledge exchange very clearly. So many things just aren't developed because people are holding a patent onto it. The cure for cancer could be a step away, but, it's off limits. They might sit on that idea forever and do nothing with it.
When I say culture is threatened, I don't just mean music and movies. I really do mean everything. The concept of intellectual property is addictive. Once you realize that ideas can be more profitable than oil or gold or even land, then there's no limit to what can be thought of as property. In 1980, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that living organisms could be patented. Soon after this decision, ayahuasca, a plant from the Amazon rainforest, was patented by an American entrepreneur. The plant has been used for generations by Amazonians for medicinal and spiritual practice. Now that you could patent life, the race was on. The 20th century had been the century of property, of land. The 21st century was to be the century of intellectual property, of ideas. In the 1990s, the United States made a plan to trade the economy of things for the economy of ideas. And the man who would protect these ideas was Bruce Lehman.
In the Clinton administration, my job was to being in charge of the intellectual property policy of the United States, both domestically and in terms of our diplomacy. In a modern economy, I think wealth is in the products of the mind. It's really in intellectual creations. In much of the world, we live in a sea of piracy. And, you can have sympathy for developing countries, but we made a deal. If you go to a shopping mall in this country, you cannot buy anything made in the United States anymore. It all comes from China or some other place like that. Well, the reason for that is that we've completely opened up our markets. It was a conscious decision to basically abandon low-wage manufacturing jobs, and the idea is that we would compensate for that with higher wage, high-tech information, more intangible-based jobs.
The idea was that they would convince the world's economies to adopt laws that prohibited the copying of American ideas without American permission. And in exchange, it would require all the countries that wanted to manufacture stuff and export them here to adopt American copyright laws. And if they didn't, they wouldn't be allowed to sell their goods, their physical goods here in America. And the World Trade Organization would be the teeth.